Welcome to another Insider Mailbag. I'm Jarret Johnson. I'm joined by the mighty Joe Yeager. Mighty Joe, man, how you doing?
Good. We're a little bit warmer than we were this time last week, that's for sure. We had a nice day today. It's very
I'm wearing my Scout throwback polo, so yeah. I'm feeling good.
Unzip this thing.
Whoa. It's getting wild.
Yeah.
I haven't even bought you a drink yet. We have some great questions from y'all. We're going to jump right into them, starting with Mr. Mustapha Mond, who wants to know, after playing 3 quality opponents in Boston College, who just knocked off Duke, Seton Hall, and Nevada, what are the basketball team's biggest concerns? He listed several options, but I figure we can come up with a couple off the top of our head, right?
Yeah, we can always do that. But yeah, it's looking pretty good right now. I would say one thing that can't be solved until they actually get into conference play is just how they're going to respond to conference play.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, intensity picks up. There's no doubt about it. It picks up if you make it to the NCAA tournament. It goes up another level.
Yeah.
So there's always that adjustment, and how is the team going to do, particularly those 3 freshmen that are playing so many quality minutes right now. How are they going to respond to Big 12 play? That's something that's a little bit of a concern for me, but, you know, I think they're going to do okay, but we just have to see. Also, something else that concerns me a little bit is defensive rebounding. And this is that's kind of a personal deal with me, because there's nothing worse that I hate to see than a team playing great defense, have a great possession there, and then they give up an offensive rebound and you get a putback. That's a dagger. And so I'm always wanting to see better defensive rebound. I can never be satisfied on that. And then the last thing I'd mention is perimeter defense. And part of that is just the way Texas Tech plays defense. I mean, Chris Beard and Mark Adams, they help inside an awful lot. That leaves a lot of stuff on the outside, but it still scares me a little bit. You know, when I'm seeing guys draining a lot of threes and open shots on the outside, that worries me a little bit. It helps when you got these long limb guards out there helping on the defense on the perimeter, but still, that's something that scares me just a little bit. So that's 3 things anyway.
Those are all good. My main concern goes along with your second one, defensive rebounding. It's the possibility of a lack of a true center, a big man, because let's be honest, Tommy Hamilton, he's been a no-show in a couple of your bigger games, a couple of the Boston College game. I mean, he really didn't register a stat, I think, other than a turnover in like 12 minutes or 15 minutes. So, and then even against Nevada, Beard had to take his bigs or his center out to really make that run and kind of go small, because even though we all like Norris Odiasi, I'm a big fan of his. He's either in foul trouble or he's injured most of the time. That's been, his story. But when he has been on the court, and even this year, I said in the rapid fire, I believe, that he has actually exceeded my expectations. The lost weight, he's looked good. He's looked more athletic. He's looked quicker. But he's still a force, enforcer inside, and they're going to need him in the Big 12. Big 12, man, they're going to be like Seton Hall. I mean, don't get me wrong, they got a lot of like lucky bounces, but at the same time, they were the only team that Tech has really played so far this year that can truly, like, man for man, 7 or 8 deep, can match the athleticism or get close to matching the athleticism that Tech has. And it was scary. You know what I mean? So they're going to need something. I don't mean that to be great. They don't have to be one of the top 6 or 7 players on the team, but they need some kind of impact from the 5 position. Cubhones wants to know, he says, he knows he needs to make new friends. He's stuck up in Kansas, but he's trying to remedy that. He may actually be moving to the Hub City here pretty soon. But he's been hanging out with KU fans, and he says he's had to suffer through them winning for, what, 16 straight years, Mighty Joe? Is that what something? I mean,
I think so. How long has the conference has been around?
Yeah, pretty much Kansas has won as long as we can remember the Big 12. But he says this may be the worst team they've had in a while. And so he wants to know, who do we think wins the Big 12 championship? I'm going to go ahead and say I think Kansas wins again, because, well, we've had these even since we've been doing the mailbag. Maybe Kansas isn't all that great. And then, it's kind of like Oklahoma is, honestly, in football. Maybe they're not all that good, and then they get to Big 12 and they just dominate. They just know what they're doing. There's a lot of things going on as far as it behooves the Big 12. I'm not a big tinfoil conspiracy guy, but it does behoove the Big 12 for Kansas to be Kansas. You know what I mean? So you're not going to get any, and that happened last year. We saw that, and not just Tech, but a lot of other teams where they got royally screwed, for lack of a better word, by the refs. So that is a thing. It really is. I'm not a big ref guy, but that is a thing. I think Kansas repeats for the umpteenth time.
Yeah, I mean, just because this is maybe Kansas's weakest team in the last several years or whatever, they're still pretty dang good.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Kansas is so good. They've dominated this conference so much that they could afford to drop a notch or two and still win the thing. You know, that's the scary part. And, you know, I mean, the thing about Kansas this year is their starters are killer. I mean, they got 5 guys averaging in double figures. Talented guys. Gerald Vick is a tremendous athlete. Mihalik is a shooter that just scares the daylights out of you. Devontae Graham, a great all-around guard. They just got guys up and down that lineup, but they only go 7 deep. Yeah. That's the thing. They don't play. Once you get, so they can be in difficulty if they have foul problems or if they have anybody get injured this year, or you know somebody has an off-the-court deal that's so bad that Bill Self actually has to do something, you know. I mean, maybe
that's not going to happen.
Murder a couple of people, maybe, you know, something like that.
More than 2, right?
Yeah, it could be like, yeah. Well, we don't want to get too grisly or anything, but you know what I'm saying. But if something like that happens, then I could see a challenge, because I mean they are, like I said, they go 7 deep, and if they have some problems there, then they could be in a little bit of a bind. But you know, we'll just have to wait and see. Yeah, right now I have to say I lived in Missouri for 4 years, so show me. I got a bad case of show-me-itis until somebody shows me it's Kansas.
Just real quick, number 2, mine would be West Virginia still.
Yeah.
What about you?
They look pretty good. Yeah, they are. And you know, really, I think Tech can be up there with them. I really do. I think
you are all about Tech. Yours, I'm worried about you. I hope they come through just for you, because some of the answers you've had are wow. I mean, you're really optimistic. I am too, but I mean, you are really optimistic about this program right now.
Yeah, I not only swallowed the Kool-Aid, I swallowed it mixed with a whole bunch of Everclear or something was in the Kool-Aid right now is what I feel like's happening. So yeah.
Well, good. Congratulations. That's fun. That's good. I hope it pays off, because it does happen sometimes, you know. All right. Juicebox says, since we've been covering or watching Texas Tech, name the biggest commit from football to decommit who went on to have an amazing career wherever they committed elsewhere to. Mine just is pretty easy. I think it's going to be Jarrett Stidham. I mean, you look what he's done with Auburn. He already has them in a New Year's Six bowl. I think if he comes back, if he doesn't go to the NFL, then he'll have them as a contender for a national champion as a quarterback. That's about as big as I can think of, really.
Yeah, that's a real good one. Go a little bit farther back. You remember Greg McElroy?
Oh yeah, Alabama.
Yeah, that guy was committed to Tech. Southwest Carroll. He was Tech all the way for so long, and then last minute, Saban sneaks in there and gets him, and I was furious, man. I mean, you can't. Looking back, obviously, you can't blame him or anything like that, but I was just fit to be tied. And now he didn't put up monster numbers or anything like that at Alabama, but he won a national championship. And now look at him; he's in the booth making God knows what, and. So yeah, that's my guy right there, and that one hurt. That one hurt.
Okay, from Syntax says, is Tech's football recruiting really that bad? What ends up ranked higher, the defense or the recruiting class? Well, the defense is still around 100. The recruiting class isn't going to fall down that far. Now, maybe run defense would be a good comparison, because run defense is what, in the 50s somewhere?
Right.
And right now, as of when we're shooting this, Tech's recruiting class is ranked number 51 in the country, which is, come on, Tech's better than one of the top 50 schools. I mean, they should be one of the top 30 schools recruiting-wise, considering we're still in Texas. This is West Texas, but we're still in Texas. They should be in the top 30 every year. So right now, it's a little disappointing, Money Joe.
Yeah, I mean, that's the ratings are what they are. I mean, and you may not like it. I mean. And they're not completely accurate. I mean, nobody's going to say that these things are perfect, that it's a science or anything like that. But, I mean, it is what it is. Nobody out there at Scout has it in for Texas Tech or anything like that, and that's why they're all the way down at 51. I mean, basically, that's what the class looks like right now, is number 51 in the country. So, I mean, you hope that the way Mike Leach used to do it, his classes were never that great on paper, but always those diamonds in the rough. And then when you get them here, coach them up, and for the most part, there wasn't a whole lot of attrition or anything like that, and so that was kind of the formula for winning. You hope that this time Cliff Kingsbury and his staff have also got the gift for finding those diamonds in the rough, and that some of these guys are better than they are advertised as. So we will see. They get them here. They got to keep them this time. You know,
Yeah.
you can't be having this kind of attrition that you documented so well going on again with this sort of class. You just don't have any margin for error. So, but yeah, right now not looking too hot, I got to say.
Yeah, my biggest concern is with some of the attrition, I have to tip the cap that they have filled it with some transfers. I mean, guys like Eli Howard, Colin Hill, I mean, they're starting and playing well for you. You know, Willie Sykes before his drama or whatever, which we're not going to go into, where he missed several games. I mean, he was a good performer for you. So they were hitting some transfers at a high rate, you know, especially on defense, which is where the main holes were. But they have to keep that going the way they're recruiting. Last year, only 10 high school guys on your recruiting class. Now, you had guys like Rico Jeffers, you know, you had walk-ons come in like Justice Parker, who, you know, were second team All Big 12. So, I mean, yeah, they're doing a good job of supplementing the recruiting classes. But as far as in Texas high school football, I don't know how long, like even David Gibbs called the transfers who came through and performed so well a miracle. That's his term, a miracle. And it was. We were doubtful, like how often do JUCO transfers just come in and play so well? They did. And that's a real tip of the cap to them and the coaches. But it was a miracle. It is a miracle. So, and they finished 6-6. So I'm a little concerned about the future.